think I click here, right? And then eco. No?
I'm just going
You do it, Tara. Hi guys. So we're going to be starting our live. We're going to be calling her in a minute if it works. Hopefully she joins the chat. Hi. Okay, let's see if she's joined the chat. Hi everyone. So we're going to be talking with Eco today. There she is. Eco Spiritual. Is it going to let me get her? Can you help me out, Torrin? I feel like an old person trying to figure this out. Can you try and do it for me? Hi, thank you, it's so sweet. We're just trying to figure out how to call her. There we go. There it is, at the top. There she is. Yay, Elizabeth. So, we're going to be discussing boundaries, mental health, and living off grid with Elizabeth, and we're really excited about this.
Hi.
Hi. Hi. We didn't know how to make it work, so
I haven't done a live already in my life. It's the first time, so no worries. I'm also like a tech dinosaur.
That's how we felt. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful to meet you. So you're from
I'm
Greece.
from Greece, yes.
So let's hear about you and like what you do over there and and how it all fits in with your morals and things.
Okay. So hello everyone. I'm Elizabeth. I live in Evia Island, the second biggest island in Greece. It's 1.5 hours from Athens. And I've been living here since autumn 2021. I'm living in an olive grove where I installed a tiny house on wheels, which was custom made based on my ethics. Everything was eco and vegan. And it has been designed based on my one dog's needs because he has some behavioral issues, and I needed to have at last a space that I can have him calm and relaxed, but at the same time I could also have some friends or a partner here, because before that I was for 6 years, not six, let me think, 4 years, almost 4 years, living a nomadic life with my dogs and my cat. And although it was very adventurous and really I love traveling and meeting new places and people, it was exhausting because the dogs are very big and they're growing older, so I needed a place to grow roots for some time for them to give them stability. So it's been 2.5 years I'm living here. I have solar panels for energy, and the water comes from a spring source, from a very old spring source.
Wow.
This has been my dream, but apparently when you dream things, you don't expect what can emerge when you actually live the dream. I'm sure you know it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so
That's how it was with us. Like everyone thinks, oh wow, van life is like perfect and amazing, but it is amazing. But with every style of life, there comes troubles and hard work and a lot of commitment.
yes.
So you can have your dream, but then it's kind of like you can have this, but you get this, or would you rather this, but you have this? That's what life's all about, and it's choosing what if you can deal with the and this situation.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So the hard part is that I wasn't expecting the climate breakdown to start happening so fast.
Yeah.
So when I bought the land, I wasn't expecting like 2 years later to have 40 degrees temperature. And I didn't want to have an air condition, so I only put in the beginning, I installed only a fan in the ceiling. But now I had to buy an air condition because it was for my dogs very necessary. Otherwise, they would have a heat stroke. So the biggest challenge has been the heat. Like where I am, although I'm close to the sea, there is 4 degrees temperature difference between where I am and the sea because I'm more like a small mountain, let's say. But there are not many trees here. It's only the olive groves around me, and it's a very dry area. So it's very strange that if I take the car and I just drive 10 minutes and I go to the sea, There it's 4 degrees less. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest challenge. And last year the spring source almost emptied, and it has never happened before, they tell me here, the locals. So it was very stressful because I had created huge veggie gardens. I planted so many pumpkins. I was so happy. I'm doing permaculture. And so I was, with all my love, I did these very big veggie gardens, and I was feeding the plants with mushrooms, and I was making all this land cover and everything. And I was so excited to see them growing. And then this happened, and all the plants got stressed. I got stressed. My dogs were so hot. So
Yeah.
it has been a nightmare last year.
Wow. So, like, I haven't, like, they always say about global warming and climate change, but I think because I'm from England, like, they laugh it off. A lot of English people laugh it off. Like, it's not that hot.
Because it's always raining and
Yeah.
cold in England still.
So, can you explain a little bit more about that, of how bad the heat has got over the years?
Yes. It's strange because, I mean, I know that in England it's raining a lot, but I mean, if you hear the news, you can hear everywhere how many floods and how many heat waves are
Yeah,
happening. So,
floods. Yeah, you're right. I didn't think of that.
yeah.
Yeah, the first time this year, my little island that I'm from completely flooded for 2 months.
Mm,
And they were like going on boats. Because I haven't been there, I forgot.
mm,
And my mum was like, it's getting serious. And like, yeah, the floods. So we may not be getting
exactly.
sun, but we are getting floods. I had
Exactly.
not thought
So,
of that.
yeah,
Oh
it's
my
two different
God.
things because imagine that when we had the drought last year, I was praying for rain. Because only if it rained, the sewers would have water again. And then when it rained, it was a deadly flood that killed thousands of farm animals in the center of Greece. And some people also died. And it has totally destroyed the villages in that area. So it's very serious because like I am living here exposed to weather conditions, and the weather conditions have been extreme. So either we have very high temperatures, like it's so hot you cannot stand to be outside. Either it's going to start raining and you cannot enjoy it. Like I love the rain normally. I want to go out and be under the rain, but this rain, it's so strong that you are like, because I am in a tiny house in Wales, sometimes I'm thinking that my tiny house is going to start swimming, like something bad is going to happen. And when you see all these places in the world having so serious floods, like Brazil, and recently they had in Bangladesh serious floods and tornadoes and things like that, and in Greece, like so many different places in the world at the same time, they have floods, and others at the same time, they have heat waves. So seriously, there are people who are dying in Asia and in Africa from heat strokes. And it's
Yeah.
not only old people.
Yeah, no, someone that I'm friends with on Instagram, she's from India, and she's in hospital because it got to 45 degrees and she had heat stroke
Yeah,
in India. And she's,
yeah,
yeah, I
yeah.
didn't, this is all starting to like, wow.
Yeah, and then last year, the person from who I'm buying tomatoes in the open market, the person who he's having helping him with the harvesting, he had to go to the hospital for a week because of the heat stroke. So it's really it's very hot. It's unbearable. And for someone like me, that I didn't want to have an air condition, and I was really thinking that I will make it with a fan, to end up having an air condition is like a setback, like because an air condition is bad for the planet. All this, when you see all these big supermarkets and offices, they all have air conditions, and what they do is that they bring out in the air more warm air. So this is worsening the situation. So things are really, we are going through a scary time. And I wish I had done this 10 years ago, when it was still possible to enjoy being exposed in nature.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's really terrifying. I can see, especially living in Greece, because that is a very hot country. Because
Yeah.
we've just come through there, and it was cloudy like the 3 4 days we were there. And then we went to Athens,
Okay.
and the guy he did my dreads, and he was saying how like outside is getting so bad. He said it feels like you're not enjoying the sun anymore. It feels like you're inside a microwave, and it
Mm,
feels like his skin's just like it's like getting really bad, and he's starting to get
mm,
worried. And
mm.
I was like, oh, it's fine. Like, it's okay. Like, you do just try to like put your tin foil hat on and just fine.
Yeah,
But it is scary.
it
Like,
is. Yeah, and
Well, and
now I'm
when we were in
feeling.
Morocco last year as well, we had the heat wave in Marrakesh where it's
yes.
40 degrees, and then in the mountains they had the floods, didn't they? And people were dying in the flood.
I did not know that. You must have read that. I don't. I try and stay away from the news.
Yeah,
I'm so worried.
it's
52.
overwhelming. I understand. It's
52 in
overwhelming.
Delhi. Apparently, someone just commented in Delhi now it's 52
Oh
degrees.
my God.
Wow.
This is something I cannot even
Yeah,
comprehend. Like I
exactly.
hear the number and I'm so scared.
Wow.
It's yeah. And of course, this is a problem that arises from still using fossil fuels, mostly animal agriculture. You know, there are so many things still happening that they should have stopped happening all these years. Last year, when we had these extreme temperatures in Greece, it was at the same time the time that the Athens airport had the majority of flights ever on the same day. So I personally have pledged to live flight free since 2019. I no longer take an airplane. And my dream is when my dogs will pass away and I will be able to travel again, I would like to travel by bike or by train.
Very nice.
I have done already 2 times a road trip to Europe. I went all the way to Holland from Italy with a boat, you know, in France, and then I came back from the Balkan countries, and then I went to Spain with my dogs and came back from Italy. So I have done it already twice, but I feel at the moment that the planet cannot afford this. So I also want to live like you are living in a van, but at the same time, I'm having this feeling like I don't. I'm still using a car, and I cannot live without a car at the moment. But I'm very skeptical with still using petrol. You know,
Yeah.
it's something that bothers me because I try as much as I can to have a low environmental impact,
Yeah.
but it's hard.
Yeah, I can see that. I can imagine. But it's strange though because like they found out all these ways to get to space, but then they aren't finding other ways to get energy
Yeah,
to stop this. And it seems like it's all very money
of
based, and
course.
that's why like the more wars they say, and to get more oil, and then to fight with people and to cause issue and cause divide, and then yeah, just there's money. It's just scary. But there's someone that said not long ago about the water. They were making water into energy, and there's guy apparently. You have to look it up after the call. Who said that he found a way to make energy from water, and then
Yeah,
he was one of the people that went missing, and it's
yeah,
all
I
gone.
have heard this story.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it needs to be a collective initiative regarding increasing temperatures. Yeah, someone said that
But
as
the
well.
thing is, it's the older generation that are in charge of these corporations, in charge of everything, that don't care
exactly,
because it's
exactly.
making them money to enjoy their life, and it's not going to affect them. It's going to affect our kids and our kids' kids. But
Yes.
it's the same with plastic.
Yeah,
Having just recently travelled to Greece and to Turkey and
Oh my god,
Albania,
yeah.
the amount of plastic waste all over the world that is also shipped out by countries like England and France and Germany that want to be eco-friendly, so they just ship it out to these other countries to
Yeah.
go deal with our
yeah,
trash. It's so
yeah.
bad.
And
I've
even
never experienced trash like it because it shocked me. I'm from an island that's like it's very touristy, so like it's like very beautiful, like no litter. And then I come to like places like Morocco and Greece, Albania and Turkey, and like it's just everywhere, all over the beaches. It's really
it's
sad to see. And like
devastating. It's
yeah,
devastating because I have collected so much rubbish in my life, guys. I'm so tired of picking up rubbish of other people. It's, you know, and
exactly.
you just cannot leave it there. You know, you feel that you have to pick it up if you are an empath,
Yeah,
and I'm sure you understand. So
Yeah.
when I went to Spain, I was feeling so good with myself that for 9 months I didn't have to pick up rubbish. I was so amazed by how clean it was. But it happened, the COVID happened, and I had to come back, and I'm like, okay, back to the rubbish. It's the first disappointing image for Greece because Greece is such a beautiful country.
yeah,
There are so many beautiful sceneries. We have everything here, but locals really don't respect the land, don't respect the environment. Like I see here people, they come to pick up the olives to do the harvest, their own lands. They harvest the olives and then they leave behind their coffee cup, straws, and we even have normally banned using plastic straws. But at the same time, even if we have this law, they are illegally giving them.
yeah.
So You know, and they say, you think a plastic straw is going to save the world? Well, we have to start somewhere. Of course, it's the straw, and then it's the cup, and then, you know, we all need to have, you know, our own water bottle. We should follow a whole food plant-based diet. We should try to buy things in bulk. There are so many things that, you know, if everyone does some changes, the one inspires the other. And at the same time, we have to all together push the, you know, the people in power and the systems to change, because it's not gonna, the change is not gonna happen if you and me would just change. We also need to put pressure on the, you know, on the people in power. So yeah, it's so disappointing, the situation with rabbis here. And we have a very nice movement here. It's called Saviorhood. And there are millions of people in Greece that they are in many different places arranging to collect rabbis. So there are so many tones collected, but this is a volunteer movement. And I believe that we should not rely on this volunteer movement. It's very nice that we collect rabbis, but this is like, you know, if you have leaking water and then you just put under a cup and it's collecting the leaking, you have to stop the leaking, you know? So yeah, it's hard. Like, I really hope that at some point in my life I will migrate again somewhere more in the north, because it's going to be extremely hot here and it's not going to be bearable. Women are mostly affected. Like, the first people who are affected is women and kids, I think, from heat. So I see it like between my partner and I'm more like, I cannot bear heat. I prefer to be cold and do this, you know, than to be hot and not being able to do anything.
I think it's easier to warm yourself up than it is to cool yourself down.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. And you're in France now. Where in France are you?
We're in the middle.
Kind of in the middle.
In the middle. We're traveling back to get to England.
Okay. Nice,
Yeah,
nice.
going there for 3 months.
I
As
would,
I say, I'm excited to get back.
of course, now in the summer is the best place to be.
Yeah,
The more
like
north.
even with like I know loads of people like personally that have skin cancer, and they're young, old. Like my granddad's got skin cancer. My dad might have skin cancer. Like, and
Sorry.
yeah, but like my dad doesn't even really go in the sun. He tries and covers up.
Mm,
So that's what's like really scary, and like that he's like in England as well, and my granddad's from Spain, and he's also saying about how hot it is. So, and it's having that realization of like your friends and your family that are getting these conditions, and people in their 20s that have friends in their 20s also have skin cancer, and it's like this is like serious. And then I looked at the statistics, and apparently the skin cancer has risen dramatically
mm,
over the last few years,
mm.
and oh my god, it's just it's terrifying. It's
Yeah,
terrifying.
it is.
Yeah.
How long have you been living in the van, you guys?
So full time will be 2 years in December, and part time for about 4 or 5 years.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah,
Nice.
we loved it. And it's amazing having free electric. Like, it's so good. And obviously with the water as well, we have a water system. So we have like a water system, so we can stop using stuff. And yeah, it's been really good. But even though we live in a van, we do try and bring our footprint down as much as we can. So like another way that we charge the van is also by driving, so it doesn't feel so bad. It's how we get our electric as well, to be able to like fuel stuff. So even though it's still petrol, it's still for us like we've done a lot less than a house.
Yeah, of course. Understand. Are you gonna come back in Greece?
Yeah. So we'll be going back to Greece either next year or the year after, because we're going to be doing like Greece, Turkey again, and because of England and the Schengen jumpings.
Of course. Yeah, with the
Then
Brexit
like
now, it's
yeah,
not as easy. Yeah,
yeah.
I see.
Yeah,
Okay.
someone wrote in the comments, I also think a lot of helping humanity, others helping collectively. Like, another thing I am really proud of about my own generation and like Gen Z as well, like they are so much more energy conscious, and they're more awake than a lot of people. I've noticed they're trying to come forward, they're trying to tell their friends to live better, to save the world, and it is really nice that like I'm seeing that change. So even though like the older generation normally go, oh, the generation before is a lot worse, like I am actually really like proud of like how our generation is trying to
Mm-hmm.
make a
Mm-hmm.
change
Yeah.
and say, yeah, we're all messing up here. Let's try and fix it. And I am liking that about what's
How
going
old
on.
are you guys?
We're 28.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm 38.
Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
we're like in millennials, we're not Gen Z, but that's what I mean. Like people, millennials and Gen Zs arguing, but I have so much respect for them because they are more energy conscious. They want to save the planet, and yeah, so
Mm.
I
Of
am really
course.
proud of that. And I also love with Instagram that it does bring people together to talk about this stuff
Yes.
so that it can
It does.
tell it to other people so that they can go, you know what, that's actually so true. I hadn't thought about that. And hopefully tell one other person and tell one other person. Like the
Mm-hmm.
butterfly effect, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And may I ask you how you managed to live in a van, two people with serious mental health issues without
Yeah.
killing each other? Because this is really a magic thing
Oh,
that you're doing, guys.
thank you. So basically, 6 years ago, I had this like huge awakening within myself of like my toxic behavior, like who I was as a person, how I treat people, how I treat myself. And like it just slowly started to happen and I started to like wake up in my body. And when I was explaining it to Torrin, he was like, everything you're saying makes sense, but I was diagnosed as having I was having psychosis. But really, all the things I was saying was real and true and scientific, as if like I was getting information given to me. And since then, I've just kind of anytime I get annoyed or upset or I feel a negative emotion, my brain automatically kicks me back into my higher self and goes, "What are you doing? This isn't real. This isn't you.
Wow.
This is a chemical imbalance in your mind." And my body I've been training my body to like bring myself back to parasympathetic, like my nervous system, and I've been training and training naturally for years. So that's how I do it. And even though sometimes I still get really annoyed, don't I? I get annoyed, but then I go, okay, I'm overreacting, and then I'll bring myself back, and then I'll apologize, and then I'll just give myself some time.
Wow.
So
But
I'm obviously,
when you had this wake up call, did you, like, if I may ask, did you drink ayahuasca or
uh,
eat mushrooms? It just
it just
happened.
happened.
Wow.
I was in a abusive relationship before, and I started getting a bit like confused. And then I got with him, bless him. He was there for everything, like helping me out. And it started just like weird things, like that realization that when you touch something, and it sounds really weird, when you touch something, like you're not technically touching your skin, you're feeling a nerve within your body that's connecting to your brain. And
Okay.
as weird as that is, that's the kind of like in depth my brain was telling me. And it was like crazy. But then we started looking it up and it's like, that's actually true. This is true. Then real nerves that do that. Like, how are you seeing that? And it kept getting like, it was like my universe was like waking up with everything in my brain.
Wow.
And then I just became, I became so self-aware
Mm-hmm.
that like, so it's good, but sometimes if I'm acting irrational and then I become conscious while I'm being irrational,
Mm-hmm.
my ego is like so confused and crushed because I'm like, this is me but it's not me. It's so strange to me. But then
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that it is like that because I'm able to now recognize these symptoms and be aware. So I'm able to help people with BPD, bipolar, to give their feelings validation, explain where they've come from and how you can push past it, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense.
Of course, it makes. It's very inspiring to hear that. Wow.
Yeah.
Well done. Thank you for sharing.
Someone just said as well, a healthy partner can play a huge
Yeah,
part in healing,
absolutely.
which is true because I think like we give each other the space you need to kind of like you have a safe space where you
Yeah.
feel you can do wrong, you can mess up, you can say something you didn't mean, and you can go, actually, hang on, I see that I'm being wrong. I see that I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I should, and we kind of talk it out always.
Yeah.
Like we never go to sleep on an argument.
Yeah.
You never
Okay.
go to sleep with, bad things. You always kind of have to work out and resolve
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah, exactly. It's the only thing with Torrin, because obviously with his anxiety. So even though I have bipolar and mood disorder, and Torrin's a very calm and collected person, Torrin at the beginning of the relationship, he didn't understand what was going on in his mind. So even though he felt very calm because it's who he is, he didn't understand what he was thinking. He didn't understand how to communicate what he was feeling because he didn't know how he was feeling.
Mm.
So because I was on my awakening journey and realizing this, it then gave me the tools to be able to help him work out what was happening in his mind and be able to figure out what he likes and dislikes. So we were able to then bring this like safe, open communication to be able to go, okay, we both have things we need to work on. Let's help each other. And it is true. It's impossible. And I really do think it's impossible to work on yourself if you're in a toxic relationship. Because even though you want to do best and do right, it takes two to make a relationship work. So
Of
even
course.
if one of you is pouring your heart in, it's impossible. So if Torin wasn't on a journey with me, I think it'd be very difficult to stay with him because I'd be trying to become a better person and be on a better path. And I'd feel like he was holding me back personally if he was to do that. So I have to agree with that person that said that. You do definitely, it is about having a healthy partner.
Yeah.
You can do all the inner work and try, but it would be very hard if you weren't on that journey with me.
Yeah, of course, I agree. Nice.
Yeah.
Very, very nice, guys.
Changing the conversation back just for 10 seconds. Someone else wrote when we were talking about like how our generation is different and the generation beneath us is more concerned about the climate and the world and everything. Someone said, yes, but in this generation, people of our age are also like the savior in reels and online rather than doing it in person. And a lot of people are doing this for the camera and as an online thing rather than actually caring about the environment.
That is true.
So if more people actually cared,
This is an issue. That is true. Once I saw a video, someone was showing how a woman was pretending that she was picking up rubbish. She was making a video and then she just left the rubbish and continued the day. Can you believe this? I was like, I just can't believe they do this in front of other people and they don't think that someone could actually show the truth. It's so that's a problem, and that's one of the reasons I don't use Instagram all the time, because it's so much just to show off yourself and for images and likes and whatever emoticons, etc. I don't want this, but we're going through. I think as a humanity, we are going through the most lonely time of the species. We are not connected. We are so disconnected. We are always on our phone. We make stories, we make posts, etc. But we don't ask each other, how are you feeling? And talk to me, real connection is lacking.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's we read statistics the other day. Like, we're getting so into like statistics. I think Giordani, one of our friends, shared it to his post, and they're saying how like a lot of men will what is it? They give their time to get sex, and
you get time and money
to get sex, and women give attention,
they give
sex
to get money and time, and it's like a swap that's going on in the world now. It's a very
and it's also, the reason I bring that up is because it is very lonely. Like, no one knows how to truly connect. Everything is very transactional nowadays. People don't really want to get to know someone. They don't want to make a relationship or a friendship work. Everything has to be, what do I get from this? What do I gain from you? And when people actually want to make friends, they don't know who they can and can't trust. So a lot of the times they just want to stay on their phones because everything is like, it's getting so lonely and toxic. So when you're saying it's becoming very lonely, I have to agree. And also, like, parents, even though parents didn't spend that much time with you, if you think about it, when you were a kid, but it's worse now. That you don't talk at the dinner table and you don't, like, go and have activities on the weekend. Like, your mum's on their phone, the kids on their game. It's everywhere, across the board. And it's really, really sad.
And especially what happens with the phones and mothers. I personally have decided to live child-free. But when I see other mothers breastfeeding and being on their phone or doing other stuff with their kids and being on the phone, this is awful. That's the worst you can do to your kid, because kids firstly need attention. If you don't give them attention, you don't give them love, they feel neglected, and then the mental health issues emerge like that. So sometimes I think that I would like to live again without a smartphone, just the old time phone that I can just call someone. It's very addictive. It is very addictive.
Yeah, that's what we've tried doing now. Anything that we do on our phone now is either got to do with work or as if like we're helping someone. That's the only time we ever really try and go on our phone now, because like it is very addicting. Luckily, like with doing van life and making content, like it means that we've got to be creating content away from the internet and having fun and exploring and living our life and going on dates and things. So it feels like in some ways we get a lot of benefits, but also you get so absorbed onto online. And I have to agree, like it is, that's what they want, isn't it? Like yeah, it's crazy. Like
someone just said, how do I know if he's actually someone who wants to connect and not just get something?
oh, that's a good
That's
question.
hard.
That's hard.
Do you have an
Yeah.
answer for that one?
Well, first of all, you need to keep it offline, I believe. If you really want to connect, you need to ask the other person to meet in person, because
Yeah.
there is so much going, back and forth messages, and it creates a very wrong perception of what the person is. So I personally met my partner because he sent me a message and after following me for a month and telling me I want to meet you in person. So we met in person, we clicked, we liked each other, we were friends in the beginning and then we continued as partners. But he was direct, he wanted direct contact. And now we have a new person who came to live in the village and we were exchanging messages for years. He was following my website and my website basically. And we only had drunk a coffee some years ago before even I went to Spain, but we kept contact all these years. And he was very lonely in his life. I was very lonely in my life. And then I met my partner and we were, to have a partner is very important, but it's not enough for me. We need community. We need more people around us, because if one of the two people in a partnership have an issue, then the other is alone. So community is very important. So we are very happy to have him here. He recently came here a month ago and he just found a house to rent, and we are soon going to pick up his dog to bring him here. So like I was so happy that he came and that he asked me, because in the beginning he tried to find me to reconnect with me through emails, and he said, please let's talk, with voice messages at least. And he tried to have a real contact. And then, the conversation went very in depth because he was also in a very abusive relationship with a narcissistic woman who was undiagnosed narcissistic and bipolar. Not bipolar, sorry, borderline and narcissistic. And she didn't want to work with herself. So he was trying and trying and trying, putting all the effort, but, it couldn't work. So after this didn't work, he decided to come here to try to find a job here. And since he came here, I try at least once a week to have us all together, to have dinner, no matter what's happening in our lives, to have one day that we are all together without phones and we enjoy some food and we have some real conversations. And he directly when he came, he offered his help when we were trying to fix something with my partner. So for me, the key is to directly jump from online to offline, to meet the person in person, to feel the vibe, to feel if there is connection. You understand so many more things when you meet someone, because you can really get wrong messages, mixed up stuff if you only write and you only text. We should stop texting each other.
Yeah, I have noticed that. That's a very good answer. And like another way to, I think, to know as well is to like make sure that you do things that don't involve money, and you got to make sure, and it was for the man, and do things and connect together on a free basis, and make sure there's like nothing sexual for a while. Go on dates, get to know each other's souls, and if they actually want to put the effort into getting to know who you are as a person, or if they rather get to know you without your clothes on, I think that's the way you're only going to really know if someone's connected, because then you're not expecting anything from the man and it's no exchange. I just want to get to know you and let's see if there's a real connection.
So I think it's easy to fall for someone if they're going, right, today we're going to go out for an expensive dinner and we're going to go do this and we're going to go do that.
Love
okay,
filming.
next time we're going to go do this and that and this, and they're throwing all these things at you, make you feel so loved because you're doing all these amazing things. But if you go and just like sit in a park together and chat, if you can talk for hours and just know each other and enjoy that company and enjoy that time, then
Exactly.
And also like it's also, you get, it's not like the burnout in that way, but like if you're doing everything at once, it means that you've enjoyed everything and now there's like no excitement because you've done everything amazing all at once. once and then it just kind of goes downhill. And that's where people like the spark goes, because people don't continue to keep making the effort. And like that's what I like with us. Like we're trying to learn a language together. We're trying to learn to paint. Like we try and do something unique every other day, like to keep it exciting. And to, you know, like you don't need to do expensive things. You don't need money to have fun. You just need to enjoy each other's company, and that's how it works. So
This
that
is
goes back to
very,
your
very
question.
important.
Yeah, that's go back to your question of how don't I kill him. I'm constantly making us go on non-stop adventures so I never get bored.
That's important. Yeah. Yeah, but I believe that if you are in a van life, it's very hard to feel bored. Whereas here, where I am, in one place, I
Yeah.
have seen all the places around. And for someone like me who was living as a nomad and traveling so much in their life, it's very hard to practice stillness. But what you said, to do stuff that doesn't involve money, it's very important. And it's how we ended up with my partner together, because we were just sitting under the stars, two nights, the one after the other, by the sea. The first night, I ended up jumping in the sea 5 o'clock in the morning. And the next night, it just happened, and it was just what you said, that you are just there, no drinking, no, nothing. You're just there, speak, open your soul, see the other person's soul, and you click. You otherwise, yeah, if you need distraction, if you need alcohol, these things, no, no.
Yeah, that's true. That is so true. I will say that actually and touch back on that, because alcohol, a lot of people say, oh, I'll meet you for a drink. Like that's everyone's first date, isn't it? I'll meet you for a drink. Well, can you not enjoy my company if you're not under the influence? That's such a good and valid point. Like that's so good. Like especially English people. I don't know if it's really bad in Greece, but England, our culture, as awful as it is to go and get drunk and go and do drugs. Like if you don't go do that, like you're boring, why are you coming out, what are we going to do then? And I'm not going to lie, like I used to be like that, because I was in that culture. Oh, you're not going to drink, why not? Like you're so sucked into what everyone else does that no one can really truly understand real connection and real joy, because the only thing you do for fun is to get messed up. So you don't really get to know anybody. You just get to know everyone's like really toxic traits and all their rubbish you don't really want to know about anyway, because they're drunk. So that's a very good point. And then wow.
Here in Greece, we don't. I mean, there is also an issue with drinking. Mostly men, and in the villages, they drink more than women. And it's a very patriarchal country, so you can see many men in bars drinking by themselves.
Yeah.
But mostly the culture here is, let's go for a coffee. This is very typical in Greece. Let's go for a coffee, and we are there for 4 hours in the same place drinking coffee and talking shit, which is something I have stopped doing many years ago. And I'm so far away from the society, it's very hard if you are walking out from all that and you are building a very different life, because I socialize by swimming, hiking, I socialize in nature. I don't socialize in bars or cafes. I, of course, want once in a while to have a very good coffee, to enjoy it, or to go to a very nice vegan restaurant and enjoy food. But I don't need this to be happy. What I need to be happy is to be able to go and hike, to be able to go and hug trees, to be able to swim during the winter. These are the things that give me happiness. So, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so good. Yeah, the next time someone goes, hey, do you want to go out? I'm like, yeah, if we're going for a hike or we're going swimming, they're the only options, because I'm not actually interested in anything else.
Yeah.